On August 14, 2000. Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Bowen.
Let's pray. Father, we thank you for this morning. We thank you for this Commissioner's Court. Father, bless us with much needed rain and cooler temperatures, and just guide us and protect us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the next item we have for today's meeting will be public comments. Is there any public comments this morning? Second call, any public comments? Okay, last call, any public comments for today's meeting? Okay, next item we have number 4, Tracy Burr and Robert Carter, discuss or take appropriate action on the presentation of Atascosa County 2022 audit report by Robert Carter with Leal and Carter PC. Take action to accept the 2022 audit report and enter it to the county minutes. Ms. Burr and Mr. Carter.
Everybody should have a copy of the audit report. Basically, there's 3 different reports I've got there. That first page report is the examination report. This is specifically for the COVID funds. So, pretty much from all the counties are getting, quite a big chunk of money from those American Rescue Plan funds. So, the federal government basically has instructed us to do examination procedures specifically on those funds, basically making sure that you're spending them in accordance with the grant requirements. So what this report is basically expresses our opinion on those funds, and it's a clean opinion. We had no exceptions with the grant requirements. You guys are in compliance with the federal government with respect to that COVID funds. The second report is the required communication letter to the county commissioners. This is that 3-page report, and basically it summarizes the results of our audit, or our audits, since we had a financial audit and a state single audit. Under significant audit matters, there were no changes in the accounting practices in fiscal year 22. We did have a big change last year having to do with your capital leases, but that did not impact you guys. So as far as your accounting estimates, such as depreciation expense, fair value of investments, bond discount, and in your case, premium amortizations and allowance for uncollectible taxes, all that has stayed the same in this past fiscal year. There were no changes. On page 2, difficulties encountered in performing the audit. We had no difficulties in dealing with management. I commend Tracy and her staff for getting us all the information on a timely basis. This was our first year, so it normally takes a lot longer to get information. And in this case, since we didn't have any communication with the prior auditor, it just took a little bit longer to get the information. So I foresee, we're going to most likely, present these audits, sooner, and going forward. But in this case, like I said, I want to commend Tracy, and she's always been very professional. I've dealt with her for several years in different counties. So again, I want to commend her and her staff for getting us information. Under corrected and uncorrected misstatements, we have to disclose the basically material adjustments we did to your financial statements. And in this case, we had 4 pretty significant changes to your financial statements. Under A, the 20 million decrease for restoration of deferred inflows of resources on your 22 property taxes. Essentially, since you guys are a county government with a December fiscal year, you basically have 2 tax levies going on. When you basically adopt the tax levy in October, let's say for instance this past October of 22, that's basically meant for the 23 budget period. So the taxes in your fiscal period, since you have 2 levies going on, in the past, what they would do, the prior auditors would basically, I guess they didn't know what to do with that second levy, so they basically took it to your equity. They didn't run it through profit and loss because basically you'd be doubling up on your revenues. So they would actually take it to your equity. I did consult with the AICPA and the GFOA just to make sure we're on the same page, and they're in agreement with me. So you're going to see basically about a $20 million shift basically from your equity and to what they call a liability account. Basically, you're earmarking that money that you're collecting in advance for the next year's levy. And in the past, yes, sir.
Would that be equal to pre-booking the income?
That's right. That's right.
It's still, it didn't hurt us except for we pre-booked it before we received it.
Right. Instead of, like I said, the way you're supposed to treat it is basically like a liability. You're deferring it. And what he would do was he would take it to your equity, which almost would mean like you're doubling up on your revenue. So that you're going to see quite a big adjustment on your equity for that. The second issue, the 1.1 million had to do with your pension plan. So the Texas County District Retirement System, they basically give us a reporting package every year for the auditors. They call them GASB conversion entries. So what we do is we take your fund level statements, which you guys usually do like on a budget basis, and we basically accrue them into a full accrual basis. For the accounting world, I always say because of Enron, we had to make a lot of changes. And so they want basically your financials to look more like a for-profit. So we basically, in the past, you would never book your pension activity on your books. And I want to say probably for the last 10 years or so, they're requiring that. And so what we found was their measurement date for your pension plan is December 21. In this case, we're auditing 22. So all the basically for the year, all the payments you're making into it are basically prepayments. And so there's what they call a deferred inflow into the plan. And so that basically was valued incorrectly on your last year's financial statements. We had to basically decrease it by $1 million. So you'll see that also in the prior period adjustments. So that was the second issue. The third issue, increase for additions of the net assets of the self-insurance plan. You guys at one point had a self-insurance plan, and that basically you're operating the insurance. You're basically accepting the claims and administering the plan. Y'all haven't been doing that for several years, according to Tracy. So for last year's financials, you would have noticed there's they call it a government activities and business type activities, so like an enterprise fund. And so that basically is not correct. You have to, in this case, since all you're really doing is collecting the premiums for the county's employees and administering them out, it's what you call a general fund. And that, again, that's the way you're supposed to treat that activity. The adjustment on the fund level for that. And then the last one had to do with, so we do, on a biennium basis, we do a program-specific audit on your juvenile probation and your adult probation funds. And you also have some special revenue funds that have basically a state fiscal year, August or September. So again, what we noticed on last year's financials is they didn't pick up those funds. And I understand we do a specific audit on them, but they're still the county's funds. So we had to basically incorporate those into this year's audit. So that actually bumped up your fund balance by that $1 million. The special revenue funds that you did have on the books were basically on the grantees, the grantor's fiscal period, which is August to September. So we basically had to true up those numbers to get them to December balances. So you'll see that also. Under disagreements with management, we had no disagreements. I did present the management representation letter to Tracy. We did not have any outside consultation with other independent accountants. Everything we did consult with was basically with regulatory boards like the GFOA, AICPA, and the Texas County District Retirement System. So we did not have, that's something we have to disclose if we did have to consult with a third party, but we did not. And then other audit findings or issues. We did have one finding, and it's a financial finding. It's not on your state audit. And that is on page 49 of the big report. So this is a schedule of findings and question costs. When we do a single audit, we're required to present this schedule in the actual financial report. Now, you did not have a federal audit, federal compliance audit, it was a state compliance audit, and it was under those two specific state grants. So under the findings related to the financial statements, like I said, we didn't have anything for the state programs. Custodial fund accounting procedures. So they basically all have basically all your different departments, like your district clerk, county clerk, county treasurer's office, sheriff's department. And I've seen this in quite a bit of counties. So they basically have, for the majority of them, they're like fine and fee accounts. They're the ones collecting all the revenue in those fine and fee activities. And so every month they basically present a report to Tracy showing them, this is what I'm going to disperse to you. And it's like on an Excel schedule. And it basically just tells her how much we're giving you. But in those specific funds, they're in last year's report, they were called basically your county office funds. And so last year, I think there were 4 or 5 million, this year's around 7 million. And so those aren't on the books of the actual county. The individual departments are having. And so we had to make an exception on those funds because we technically couldn't audit the ins and outs of those. We did confirm the ending balances, but all we could basically account for is basically the money that's coming to you. So I'd suggested to Tracy that going forward, basically she needs to take control of these departments and basically have them incorporated into the county's books. And specifically, for instance, the tax office, they collect basically taxes for, all the entities, like the school districts and other cities. And so we couldn't necessarily identify the county's portion of it. I think that bank account had close to $4 or $5 million in it. And now some of that has to do with the timing issue because the tax levy's in October, so she's collecting quite a bit of money from October to December. So some of that money hadn't been, basically administered to the different entities. But in this case, I know years back there was an issue with the tax office here, and like I said, going forward, I think it's a good practice that we basically identify the funds and make sure that Tracy is aware of them. And basically, all the funds of the county need to go through the county auditor's office to make sure that they're being accounted for correctly. So that's something that will be taken care of in 23, basically incorporating those into the books. And so that'll basically we'll go ahead and remedy that qualification. But that was basically the one finding I had going forward. And again, this is something, since you guys have that fiduciary responsibility as county commissioners, it's something that, again, y'all need to, make sure we take control of it. And I'll work with the departments and Tracy to make sure they understand that going forward, basically it's just, again, a fiduciary responsibility, and we want to make sure we have all the checks and balances and all the controls in place for that. So as far as the actual audit report, the big book, on page 1 is our independent auditor's opinion. And there were some changes in the format of the report. We basically summarize our opinions by what they call opinion units. And so we're going to present today your government-wide financial statements, but you also have major funds, which is basically anything that qualifies as a major fund is 5% assets or 10% of the revenues of the county. Then we have to isolate those, and you'll see those in the report. So the unmodified opinion means a clean opinion. And what that means is that in particular, for those particular opinion units, the financial statements are fairly stated in accordance with U.S. accounting principles. It's a clean opinion on those funds. We had no exceptions. All the adjustments have been adopted. The only qualification, again, was having to do with those custodial funds. And technically, those aren't your funds, those are fiduciary funds, but we do put them on the books as a fiduciary type activity. So it's something that going forward, like I said, once we take control of those, then that'll go away. On, let's see here. Page 13 is the consolidated balance sheet for the county. For your fiscal year 22, December 31, 22.
Page?
On page 13. Is that where you have it on in your packets? Or you have the books, page 13. So for fiscal year '22, county had total assets of $93.4 million, which primarily consist of cash of $18.6 million, investments of $4.3 million, tax receivables of $20.3 million, accounts receivable of $3.7 million, and your capital assets net of depreciation was $45.9 million. You also had deferred outflows of resources. And this is what I talked about before. These are basically prepayments into the pension plan. We have to value the pension plan as of December 22, so we basically true up the December 31, 21 values from the Texas County District Retirement System, and we basically value them as of December 31, 22 in the form of various calculations we do. So that was $3.4 million. Again, those are prepayments into the plan. Under liabilities, total liabilities were $16.7 million, which again primarily consist of payables there, accounts payable, wages payable, compensated absences. Those were about $2.7 million. And the rest was bonds and financing leases of $20.6 million. Under deferred inflows of resources, these are basically additional accrued expenses. And those are split, overall, those were $34.8 million. This is where we were talking about as far as the shift we did on the taxes. The unavailable revenue was $26.5 million. I think last year was around $8 million. And so what we did was basically, if you see there in your net position, your equity, last year you had around $60 million, now it's going to be around $45 million. We shifted that up to a liability. And again, that's where it should be. Your tax levy for the 22 period was around $23 million. So that's all deferred. And then whatever you didn't collect in prior years is also deferred, and it's around $3 million. So that's what makes it $26 million. On page 14 is your consolidated income statement. And again, this is on a required government-wide basis. For fiscal year 22, under your first column, you had total expenses of $50.7 million. Now that includes depreciation expense of $7.7 million. I know you guys, when you guys are doing your budgets, it's like, I don't remember 50 million. So I'm just letting you know about $7.7 million of that is basically something we basically take from your fund level to your full accrual basis. And that is basically like a non-cash item. That's basically your allowance, to your infrastructure. Basically is what you're basically trying to set aside money every year that's, what would basically needed for your infrastructure, let's say, as far as maintenance and and repairs to that fixed assets. So that's what that 7.7 million is. Under program revenues, charges for services was 4.6 million, and operating grants and contributions was 11.4 million. Under your general revenues, in the middle of the page, total general revenues were 38.9 million, and those primarily consist of property taxes of 30 million, sales taxes of 6.4 million. Now, when you apply your general revenues and your program revenues against your expenses, there's a category here in the middle of the page called change in net position, and that basically is your net profit for the year, your surplus, which was 4 million. So you take that to your beginning equity of the 60 million, and then we net all those adjustments we did, that 19 million, that brings it down to the 45 million we discussed. Now, on the fund level statements, which you're more familiar with, those start on page 15. So again, you see how we divided up the general fund, all your road and bridge funds, and then everything else, all the rest special revenues are consolidated in that one column, other funds. So on the fund level basis, you had total assets of 44.8 million. Your liabilities were 2.5 million. Your deferred inflows, again, this is all the property taxes of 30.2 million. And your equity was $12 million. Again, this is on a fund level basis. And then on the income statement, which is on page 17, you had total revenues of 52.2 million, expenditures of 47.9 million. Your profit loss was about the same, 4.3 million. And again, on the fund level basis. And that concludes the presentation. You don't have any additional questions?
Yeah, basically, so you're saying that we ended up at the end of the year at $4.194 million.
In surplus, yes.
So what is that position from prior years?
I don't have the audit
Do you
report
know,
in front of me. I know you did have a surplus. You guys, you do very well when in your budgeting. So I know every year you pretty much, budget a surplus, which I commend you guys doing that. So overall, if you look at your asset to liability ratio, I mean, your assets are 93.4 million. Your liabilities are 6.7 million. So like in bankers' terms, they like to see like a 2-to-1 ratio, and you guys obviously have a lot more than that. So you guys are in very good financial health.
Okay. Any questions of Mr. Carter?
No.
Tracy, any questions? Okay. We need a motion to accept.
Motion for approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Riley to approve the audit and enter it to the minutes. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes.
Y'all
Thank
have a
you
good
very
day.
much. We appreciate all the hard work in this thing. Appreciate you getting it straightened out. Turn it up a little bit. There you go. Better. Okay, the next item we have is number 5. Deanne Poppy with Camino Real discuss take appropriate action concerning approving the presentation of the Atascosa County local match commitment requirement for Camino Real Community Service for fiscal year 2024. Good morning.
Good morning. I have with me Karina Ramirez Cortez. She's our adult mental health director. I'm the director of mental health services for Camino Real. Camino Real is the agency that provides mental health, intellectual and developmental disabilities, early childhood intervention services, and most recently substance use disorder services in Atascosa County. Because we are an agency that receives general revenue funding from the state, the county has a local match requirement. The way that the county has previously met that match requirement is through their donation to the Mental Health Advisory Board of $30,000. And the advisory board owns the building that we operate our mental health services out of. And so we use the value of that building as your in-kind match requirement. The match required is $103,217 for Atascosa County. The in-kind credit for the value of the building is $141,180. So the executive management at Camino Real is asking for your continued support of the $30,000 to the advisory board as your match requirement. Do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions. You all have any questions of her? Ma'am?
Correct. Okay. I'm not sure because we don't get a cash commitment to Camino Real, so our sheet says 0. But it does go to the advisory board is my understanding.
Any other questions? Okay. Motion to approve?
Move for approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Riley. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Next item, Walt Rakowitz and Brad Kaler discuss appropriate action approving the selection of the project to upsize the Atascosa River crossing on River Oaks Drive for the CDBG mitigation modification grant with Rakowitz Engineering. Good morning, Brad.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. So we're here to present a project for approval today so we can move forward on this, I believe. Some of you came by the office, thank you, and some of y'all had conversations with Walt on finalizing a project, but at this point, we're requesting to move forward with upsizing the Atascosa River crossing at River Oaks Drive. That is a that is a very small culvert crossing there where the Atascosa River crosses River Oaks. With the help of Brittany, we've looked through, there's probably, it's hard to tell exactly, but there's at least 129 lots back there, with some of those being future subdivided even, so there's a lot of homes back there that have one access point out. And we feel like it's best to use these funds to upgrade that crossing. The intent would be, and it looks like there's enough right away there where our approach is going to be to build a new crossing while leaving River Oaks Drive in its current condition, so folks can have access, build a new crossing adjacent to it, and then do the work to reconnect that to a larger crossing. So as we move forward, we'll start to determine exactly what kind of flow rate and storm we can get through that crossing. Basically, we're going to take the available funds and back into the biggest design we can get for those funds. But it'll be considerably better than what's there right now, so.
Motion made by Commissioner Pettis,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Bowen. Is there any further discussion? I think that's your border road, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir, it is.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll give the news to Langford Community Management and we'll get going. I'll give you guys all an update as we get a schedule and stuff put together. Thank
Good
you.
deal.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. Next item on the agenda is number 7, Justice Peace Rusty Pacifica. Discuss or take appropriate action concerning the purchase of one security metal detector wand to be taken out of the JP Courthouse Security Fund 2023, not to exceed $150. Line item number 034-300-320. Judge?
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. We did have someone come in and file a complaint or file a case in our court that I consider to be a credible threat, and I asked our constable about our security measures as far as getting into the courtroom, and found out we did not have a wand for constables to use. So when I sent this agenda item in, I wasn't sure the price. Tracy's office has found one for $64, and that's the one I'm fine with purchasing. I'm asking it to come out of JP's security fund, because that's what it's for, I believe. So I'm asking approval for that.
Motion made by Commissioner Riley. Seconded by Commissioner Pettis. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item number 8, Janice Rupel, discuss or take appropriate action concerning ordering the election for the November 7th, 2023 constitutional amendments. Good morning, Ms. Rupel. How are you today?
Need to order the election. I do see that I didn't put the sheet that says that all 4 early voting locations will be open.
Motion made by Commissioner Pettis. Seconded by Commissioner Riley. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Rupel. Item number 9, Loretta Hawley. Discuss or take appropriate action concerning personnel. Existing employee Kimberly Hines, position Deputy Tax Assessor Collector, pay rate $36,826.90 to Tier 1 $38,826.90. Salary budget area 012-444-402. She's current employee. Start date of this will be 8/14/23. Ms. Hawley?
Yes, I'm just wanting to move Kim up to the S level. She's,
Motion made by Commissioner Pettis,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Gillespie. Is there any further discussion? Basically, you're just taking her off of her 90-day probation, move her to that slot,
Correct,
right?
yes.
Okay. All those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Hawley. Next item, items number 10 through 12 are some corrections and some additions and some adjustments that Mr. Gutierrez, myself, and the auditor have been working on to try to get some things in uniform compared to the rest of the stuff. Mr. Gutierrez discussed or take appropriate action on updating the approval 2023 budget for the Atascosa County Juvenile Detention Center position titles for administration and juvenile service officers. Timothy Gutierrez, Sharon Riggins, Ernest Pettis, JSO 3, JSO 2, and JSO 1.
Yes, sir. This is pretty much just a quality of life change to kind of keep things aligned with adult corrections, just so that we're all on the same page. It's a lot easier to go ahead and explain for future things. There are a couple of corrections here and there that we had to make to kind of ensure that everything's aligned properly. But this is all just a quality of life change for this one.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie,
I'm going to abstain on this.
seconded by Commissioner Riley. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? 3 with 1 abstention with Commissioner Pettis. Next item is number 11, Mr. Gutierrez. Discuss or take appropriate action to correct the tier schedule for Atascosa County Juvenile Detention Center. Tier 1 will be the max pay, Tier 2 would be the middle, and Tier 3 would be the bottom. This gets us in line with all the rest of the county instead of reversed.
That is correct.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie, seconded by Commissioner Riley. All those in favor? Motion carries 3 with 1 abstention with Commissioner Pettis. Item number 12, Timothy Gutierrez. Discuss or take appropriate action concerning personnel, new employee Luis Garcia, position juvenile supervision officer, Tier 3, pay rate $43,250 annually, which is $3604.16 monthly. Salary budget area 039-400-562. Drug test is pending. Start date will be 8/21/23.
Yes, sir. We have 3 new employees, so it's going to be this one followed by the next 2.
Okay, let me add to that. There's 3 of them, correct?
Yes, there's 3.
So under the same terms, the Rolando Martinez and Trent Patrick Stark.
Yes, sir.
All 3 under
difference
the
is
same positions.
Yes, sir. The only difference will be that it's drawn from a different budget line item for 2 of them. That'll be drawn from the post budget, but everything else is the same from there.
Your Honor, can we pass the first one and then read the second 2 together, being the line items are the same on the next 2?
I think they're all 3 the same, aren't
No,
they?
sir, they're not.
Okay. I apologize. All right, just on the first one, Luis Garcia.
Make a motion to accept.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie, seconded by Commissioner Bowen. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes. I apologize for that. The next 2 items is Rolando Martinez and Trent Patrick Stark under the same terms.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie.
Second. You need to read the line item, the salary budget number.
I'm sorry, these are the different budget numbers. That's why we're taking them separate, correct?
Yes, sir.
139-400-403 for these 2 people.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Pettis. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Thanks for bringing that to my attention.
Yes, sir.
Next item is Sharon Riggins, position of captain, $58,000 annually. Salary budget there is 039-400-403. Drug test, she's current employee. Start date would be 9/1/23.
Yes, sir. With these are a lot of changes that should have been implemented. These were already aligned with our budget for this fiscal year. A lot of this was just essentially my predecessor trying to go ahead and get those implemented. They did not have a chance, and I'm essentially coming in here just doing a little bit of housekeeping, keeping things aligned, keeping them within the budget and everything of the sorts. So you'll see that a lot for the next coming ones.
Go ahead.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Bowen,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Gillespie. Is there any further discussion?
Is this just from Ms. Riggins?
Just Ms. Riggins.
Ms. Riggins?
Yes, sir.
All those in favor? Motion passes. Next employee, Ernest Pettis, Lieutenant, $57,000 annually, which is $47.50 monthly. Salary budget there is 039-400-403. Current employee, start date the same, September 1.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie, seconded by Commissioner Riley. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? 3-1, 1 abstention, Commissioner Pettis. Next item, I believe these 3 are correct, all identical.
The
Is
only
that correct?
difference, sir, for the next one, Brittany McCracken, that'll be a promotion, sir.
I'm sorry?
That'll be a promotion.
Okay,
So she'll
so
be going from a juvenile supervision officer to a corporal.
well, what about Vivian Leal?
Those 2 are going to be adjustments. It's going to be for Vivian Leal and Selena Huerta. Those are just going to be adjustments to make sure that they're all aligned as.
Want to
their
pick them
roles.
separately then?
Yes, absolutely. We can do that.
Okay, so existing employee Brittany McCracken, corporal, $49,000 annually. Budget 039-400-562. Current employee, start date September 1.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Pettis. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes. Next employee is Selena Hurta, corporal, 49,000 annually. Budget area 039-400-562. Current employee, start date September 1.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Pettis,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Gillespie. All those in favor? Motion passes. Next item, existing employee Vivian Leal, corporal, 49,000 annually. Salary budget area 039-400-562. Physical and drug tests are not applicable. Current employee, start date 9/1/23.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Pettis. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 are all identical?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, hold up.
Existing employee, Philip Adcock is a different salary budget.
Yes, that will go through the post budget.
Okay, then we'll leave this one out. Leave Philip Adcock out. Existing employee, Octavio Avalos, sorry. Juvenile Supervision Officer, Tier 3, 43,250 annually. Salary budget area 039-400-562. Drug test is complete, or is not applicable. Start date will be September 1. Also for the same of Patrick Guzman, Kimberly Regalado, Rochelle Santos, Xavier Bruins, Kiana Flores.
No, sir.
Okay.
Not those two, but the third one, Ken Martin.
Kenny Martin, Ernesto Miranda,
No.
and what? Oh, yeah, you're right.
The last one is okay, though.
Okay. Well, let's stop at Xavier Bruins and which one? That it? 562? And that's it? All right, we're gonna start over. We got this all out of whack here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 out of salary budget area 562. And those are the Octavio Avalos, Patrick Guzman, Kimberly Regalado, and Rochelle Santos. Correct? What? And Kenny Marin. That's correct. Need a motion for those 4.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Pettis.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Bowen. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. All right. Existing employee Philip Adcock II, Juvenile Supervision Officer, Tier 3, 43,250 annually. Salary budget area 139-400-403. Current employee, start of this salary be September 1st.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Pettis. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. All right, Xavier Bruins, salary, juvenile supervision tier 3, 43,250 annually. Salary budget area 139-400-403. Current employee, start date will be September 1.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie, seconded by Commissioner Pettis. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Next one is existing employee Kiana Flores, Juvenile Supervision Officer, Tier 3, salary rate 43,250 annually, salary budget area 139-400-403. Drug test is not applicable, start date September 1.
Move for approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Pettis,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Gillespie. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Existing employee Ernesto Miranda, juvenile supervision officer tier 3, salary is 43,250 annually, salary budget area 139-400-403. Drug testing is not applicable, start date September 1.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Bowen. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Existing employee Cassandra Rodriguez, facility coordinator, health coordinator, 56,600 annually. Salary budget area 039-400-569. Current employee, start date September 1.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Pettis.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Riley. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Next item, number 13, Tim Gutierrez. Discuss and take appropriate action concerning the approval of existing employee title change to sergeant.
For
And
these,
I
three, it's nothing more than just the title change. There's no adjustment in salary whatsoever.
Okay, all three of those are identical, right?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay. Discuss or take appropriate on the existing employee Octavio Avalos, Sergeant, 53,500 annually. Salary budget area 039-400-403. Physical and drug tests not applicable. Start date September 1. Also for Bryce McHazlett and John Salinas.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Pettis. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it, gentlemen.
Get through that. All right, number 14, Devin Wilburn, discuss or take appropriate action concerning entering into the interlocal agreement between the Cowboy Fellowship Church and the County of Atascosa. This will allow Atascosa County fire responder agencies to use the church facilities for first responder training, along with church continuing to be a point of dispensing POD site for the county. Mr. Wilburn?
Yes, sir, Judge. Morning, Judge, Commissioners. This is just a continuous item from the last agenda. We did get the interlocal agreement signed by Pastor Pete and Scotty over there at Cowboy Fellowship, and then I emailed it over to the, Judge's office. So should have it.
Move for approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Pettis.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Bowen. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes. Thank you, sir. Item number 15, Sheriff Soward. Discuss or take appropriate action on the approval to purchase 5 Chevrolet Tahoes from Caldwell Country Chevrolet using ARPA funds. Cost per unit $52,092.25. $400 buy board fee for a total of $260,861.25 to be delivered late 2023. Budget line item 012-487-644. Sheriff?
Okay, originally, we were gonna budget 10 Tahoes for next year. We were contacted by Caldwell Country, and they got 5 2023s on the lot. And so we had to move fast and tell them to save them for us. These vehicles are hard to get, and we have to wait for long periods of time. We should be able to get them this year. County auditor said we could purchase them from ARPA funds, and so that's what I'm requesting.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Pettis. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Next item, number 16, Sheriff Sauer, discuss or take appropriate action to accept and certify the donation received from the Atascosa County Sheriff's Office, for the Atascosa County Sheriff's Office, in the amount of $25,000 from the All Fired Up benefit to purchase law enforcement equipment for the Sheriff's Office and amend the Atascosa County 2023 budget to create the revenue account donations 012-300-346 to receipt the funds and increase the Atascosa County 2023 budget line item for expense account law enforcement 012-440-698 by the same amount. Sheriff?
Yes, this money originated from a group of citizens, ranch owners, and so forth in southern Atascosa County. Wanted to contribute money to help combat the flow of illegal aliens and the pursuits and the running through the fences, and just provide equipment that the Sheriff's Office could use to enforce the law. And it was given to the All Fired Up 501c3, who wrote a check to the Atascosa County. And we would just like to accept and certify that donation.
Motion made by Commissioner Riley,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Pettis. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Number 17, Sheriff Sauer, discuss or take appropriate action concerning personnel. New employee, Michael Aaron Sorrow, Deputy Sheriff, pay rate Tier 2, $52,988.57 annually, 171 fluctuating hours, 120 uniform allowance, $175 holiday pay, 90-day county probation, one-year agency probation, salary budget area 012-440-410, drug test physical pending. Start date will be September 5th, 2023. Sheriff?
Yeah, I'm hiring Michael Sorrow as a deputy sheriff at Tier 2. Salary and benefits stated in the agenda. Physical and drug test pending, and the start date is September 5th, 2023.
Motion made by Commissioner Pettis,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Gillespie. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Next item, number 18, Sheriff Soward. I'm sorry, same item number. New employee Javier Sandoval, Corrections Officer, pay rate Tier 2, $46,217 annually, 171 fluctuating hours, 120-month uniform allowance, $150 a month holiday pay, 90-day county probation, one-year agency probation, salary budget area 012-442-562. Physical and drug tests are pending. Start date will be August 24th.
Judge, all three of these are the same except for their start dates, if you want to.
Except for what? The
Their start date.
Now, let's take them separately.
Okay.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Pettis. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. The next one is Carlos Reyna Jr., Corrections Officer, Tier 3, $44,217 annually, 171 fluctuating, 120 a month uniform allowance, $150 a month holiday pay, 90-day county probation, one-year agency probation, salary budget area 012-442-562. Drug test is completed. Start date 8/14 at 9 a.m.
Hiring Mr. Reyna as a correction officer at the salary and benefits stated in the agenda. Physical drug test completed, and the start date is today at 9 a.m.
Motion made by Commissioner Pettis, seconded by Commissioner Riley. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. New employee DeAndre Campbell, Corrections Officer, Tier 3, $44,217 annually, 171 fluctuating, $120 a month uniform allowance, $150 a month holiday pay, 90-day county probation, one-year agency probation, salary budget area 012-442-562. Physical and drug tests are pending. Start date will be August 28th.
Mr. Campbell is coming on as a correction officer at Tier 3 salary. The benefits stated. Physical and drug tests are pending, and start date is August 28th.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Pettis. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? All those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 18, Brittany Van Karen, discuss, take appropriate action concerning approving a variance request for Vista Hills subdivision Unit 2 in Precinct 2. Ms. Van Karen?
Good morning. How are y'all?
Good.
We have received a variance request on the Vista Hills subdivision in Unit 2 in Precinct 2. They are requesting a variance around the private roads. They do not want to be held to the paving requirement for our private roads. The reason behind it is that they all attach to roads that are currently unpaved. But as we discussed, whenever we put that ordinance in place, there's a larger safety concern behind that. So I do not recommend approval of this variance today.
Yes, I know we talked about it, and, that's kind of what the courts, what y'all have determined in the past, so you don't want to look at something different of that, but I agree with Brittany on that.
Okay, make the motion.
What do you want, just no action to be taken, or that we?
It would be a motion to deny the variance.
Motion to deny the variance.
Okay, yeah, I make a motion to deny this variance.
Motion made by Commissioner Bowen to deny the variance for Vista Hills subdivision Unit 2. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Pettis. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes. Number 19, Brittany Van Kern, discuss or take appropriate action concerning approval of the Hickory Acres subdivision located on Hickory Lane, Precinct 1. Ms. Van Kuren?
Yes, sir. This one is pretty simple, 7 lots at the end of a private road. They all have adequate road frontage. There's plenty of acreage for their septics and their private wells. There's no cause for concern here. I recommend approval.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Bowen. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes. Item B, discuss or take appropriate action concerning approval of the Yay Family Acres subdivision on Patton Road in Precinct 2.
Yes, sir. This one is extremely simple. They are simply taking their 10 acres and dividing it into one 3-acre parcel, and they're keeping the additional 7. All have adequate road frontage, and I recommend approval.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Bowen. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes. Item number 20, Brittany Van Kuren, discuss or take appropriate action concerning approval of the Wilkie Road subdivision correction plat on Wilkie Road in Precinct 1.
Yes, sir. There was just a line correction that was caught by Rakowitz, and they've just sent it back. The lots stayed the exact same size. It's just a shifting of a line to correct the plat.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie. Second. Seconded by Commissioner Pettis. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Item number 21, discuss or take appropriate action concerning approval of the Somerset Ridge subdivision on Stevens Road and Sanctuary Lane in Precinct 2.
Yes, sir. This is one that we have all had some conversation with Essex Properties on. They are proceeding forward with this, and I want to say there are 13 lots, I believe it is now, that they have put together at the corner of Stevens and Sanctuary. I recommend approval.
I make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Bowen,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Gillespie. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Item number 20,
Thank
thank
you.
you, Ms. Van Kuren, we appreciate you. Item number 22, Justin Vasquez, discuss and take appropriate action concerning renewing patron access to Westlaw through Thompson Reuters for 3 years in the amount of $580.27 per month. Mr. Vasquez?
Morning. I got an email just asking for the renewal of this agreement with Thomson Reuters for Westlaw to be available in our law library. We're actually looking for a place in the Justice Center where we'll be more accessible to the people who might want to use it in the future, but for now, we're just renewing the agreement.
Move for approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Pettis,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Riley. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vasquez. Next item, Treasurer Pavelic, discuss or take appropriate action concerning approving publication of the July 2023 Treasurer's Report order in the Pleasant Express newspaper and countywide website. Ms. Pavelic?
Good morning. I request approval for publication.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Pettis,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Riley. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 24, Teresa Carrasco, discuss and take appropriate action concerning approval of Commissioners Court minutes for June 2023. Motion made by Commissioner Pettis,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Riley. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Item number 25, Commissioner Pettis, discuss or take appropriate action concerning AEP Electric Company requesting approval from Atascosa County Commissioners Court to install a pole on a county right-of-way to serve customers on County Road 327 in Atascosa County. No fees to be collected. Commissioner Pettis?
I've met with them, talked to them about it, and they've agreed to our specifications, so I move for approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Pettis,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Bowen. Is there any further discussion?
I'm going to ask a question of this. It was brought up in Commissioner Riley's precinct before we had an issue, and it's turned into I don't know if it was a
wreck.
lawsuit, but it was a chaos.
It's getting there.
This ain't turning into the same thing, is it?
Because I've contacted them. There's a work order to move those poles since that discussion.
That's Brittany's got her hand.
Do we issue a permit for this?
There is a permit in place, and they are, currently, the procedure is to get it from the commissioner, and it be approved through Commissioner's Court, which you got the permit from
I
them,
got the
correct?
permit paperwork, I turned it in to you.
Okay, so did they come to us, or how did this happen?
They called.
They called? Okay, good. What's a start? Maybe we got them
attention.
straightened out. Okay. Is there any further discussion?
Do you get any of those?
All those in favor? Motion passes. Item number 26, discuss or take appropriate action concerning a 12-inch lay-flat water line along the side of County Road 343 for approximately 5,865 feet. A check in the amount of $1,000 from Straight Line Well Services LLC has been turned over to Atascosa County Treasurer. Commissioner?
Same thing here, Judge. They met with me, looked at it, and they agreed to our terms, so I move for approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Pettis.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Gillespie. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Item number 27, Commissioner Pettis, discuss or take are any of these alike? No. Discuss or take appropriate action concerning personnel. New employee, Abel Cavill Jr., Precinct 3 Road Crew, pay rate Tier 3, $43,205.31 annually. Salary budget area 023-400-402. Physical and drug test completed. Start date will be August 15th. Commissioner?
Thank you, Judge. We've met with him also. He's passed his physical, drug test, everything that we've asked of him. So I recommend approval for hire.
Motion made by Commissioner Pettis.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Gillespie. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Existing employee Robert Sanchez, Precinct 3 Road Crew, pay rate moved to Tier 2, $45,205.31 annually. Salary budget area 023-400-402. He's current employee. Start date would be September 1. Commissioner?
This is a gentleman that's been with us for a while, and I'd like to move him up to the right tier and the proper pay. Move for approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Pettis. Seconded by Commissioner Riley. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Third person, existing employee Marco Galindo, Precinct 3 Road Crew, moved to Tier 1 at $47,205.31 annually. Salary budget area 023-400-402. Physical and drug tests are not applicable. Start date will be September 1, 2023.
Marco's been with us for a while also, and I'd like to move him up. He's got his CDL and has been doing a pretty good job for us driving trucks, so I'd like to ask for approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Pettis.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Bowen. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes. Number 28, Commissioner Riley, discuss or take appropriate action concerning a permit to lay a 4-inch temporary water line on County Road 413 for 1.3 miles for EOG Resources. Cashier's check for $1,000 has been turned over to Atascosa County Treasurer's Office for the permit. Commissioner?
Yes, sir. I'll check in on this, and I'm very familiar with this area, all these land. So, I move for approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Riley.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Pettis. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Item number 29, discuss or take appropriate action concerning the following 2023 line item budget adjustments and/or budget amendments for the following. Ms. Barrera, these are all funds. I'm good with everything.
Move for approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Riley to go as presented. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you, ma'am. Item number 30, Attorney Trent Rowell, discuss or take appropriate action concerning personnel. New employee Robbie Denson, position secretary, transfer from the auditor's office. Pay rate to be $41,341.91 annually. Salary budget area 012-404-402. Not applicable. Physical and drug test. Start date will be August 14th. Mr. Rowell?
This is filling that empty position that we had.
We thought we were going to try to do it without the hiring of the additional secretary, and we couldn't do it. We don't need to fill the lawyer position. We do need to fill the staff position, which should tell you who does most of the work in our office. So, but Robbie everybody knows Robbie. Tracy has been, I know, she's giving me a dirty look and now won't talk to me, but we're asking that this be approved.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Bowen. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Item number 31, myself, discuss or take appropriate action to approve the public safety answering point, the PSAP interlocal agreements for emergency 911 required by the Commission of on the State Emergency Communications. The interlocal agreement is effective September 1, 2023 to August 31st, 2025. And direct the county judge to sign the Alamo Area Council of Governments routing approval form. This is something that's done, I understand, ever so often, and we need it for approval.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie, seconded by Commissioner Pettis. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Item number 32, update, take appropriate action concerning judge, commissioners, and other county elected officials, training course certifications, record any hours and certificates into the Commissioners Court minutes and other documents not related to education needing to be filed in the Court of Records. Commissioner Bowen has completed 13 hours of educational hours at the South Texas County Judges and Commissioners Association of Texas Conference in San Antonio, June 26, 2023 through June 29, 23. Also the same for Commissioner Riley, same hours and same dates. We need a motion for this. I didn't think we do, but we need to act on it. Motion made by Commissioner Riley.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Bowen. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes. I guess we're going to go into executive session at this point. So the regular session of Atascosa County Commissioners Court will now recess in order to convene executive session according to Texas Local Government Code 551.071, 551.074, and 551.0785 to discuss personnel and other matters with the county attorney's office. It is now 10:02 a.m. Okay, it is 11:27 a.m. I'm sorry? Oh. Okay, I think we can go forward with what we got. I think 11:27 a.m. and we're back in regular session. We have an item to discuss and take action on that was discussed in the executive session. So item number 35, discuss or take appropriate action concerning items discussed in executive session.
Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion to freeze for Precinct 2 and Precinct 4 constable deputies' salary budget for the remainder of this year from September 14th today to December 31st of 2023. No hiring.
August
Sorry.
14th.
August 14th, I'm sorry, August 14th today to December 31st, 2023.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie and seconded by Commissioner Riley to freeze the hiring of the positions and freeze the salary budget area for the deputy constables in Precinct 2 and Precinct 4 for the remainder of this year beginning today. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Do we need to wait for Tracy on payroll? Or do we have it all? Okay. Next item, discuss, take appropriate action to approve, accept all invoices and payroll. Is there any discussion?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie to approve invoices and payroll, seconded by Commissioner Bowen. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Reports. Next item is discuss, review, and take action on all submitted reports. Motion made by Commissioner Pettis.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Riley. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Okay, so we don't have any reports. Okay, so we're gonna, no, item number 37, no action to be taken. Number 38, comments from commissioners. Is there any comments? Okay, we'll have a budget session Wednesday morning at 9 a.m., correct? This coming Wednesday, and then again next Monday. Hopefully we can wrap up where we need to be at. If there's no other business, this time we have some plats to sign, is that correct? Okay.